Well, good morning, Traverse City Moms Group. I think it's so wonderful that you're all meeting today. My name is Becca Mowry, and I'm on our teaching team at Kensington Church, and I'm married to Brian, who's our senior pastor. And we're going to be up in Traverse City this summer, I believe end of June or July. I'll find out those dates, but we're excited to be with you and see you, and I hope we get the chance to meet. But I was really honored today to be able to just share with you on this kickoff about moms. And I'm so excited that you're gathering together. I think that's so important. And we'll talk about that in a few more minutes. But I did just want to take a moment to share with you as we kick off this. Just this time together as women, as moms, of what it looks like to come together, to be refreshed, and to find rest. So I think it is so exciting and so important that you're making room for this. When I think of as a mom making room in my life, it is amazing the things that I actually can make room for that I don't think I have the ability to do. For example, my refrigerator. Maybe some of you can understand this, that just when your refrigerator seems packed and you can't fit anything else in it, I can come home with an entire trunk full of groceries and somehow I can rearrange and I can clean out and I can reprioritize and make room for the things that are fresher. Make room for the things that are more valuable. Make room for the things that are desired. And I can fit those things into my fridge, the very things that I never thought I had room to do. But I can because I've prioritized it. And I think it's so important that you prioritize moments like this, that you prioritize community like this, um, times to get away, times to be encouraged, times to be refreshed, because that is what's going to help us as moms. And we'll talk a little bit more about each one of these things as we move on. But today, I know that this focus for you is on this idea of finding rest as a mom. And we have to be intentional if we're going to do this. We actually have to plan for it. Now, I know I'm a mother of four daughters. So my girls now are 20, 18, 16, and 13. I can hardly believe it. I remember joining a MOPS group when a mom would come in and tell me that their kids were that old. And I remember thinking they were so old. I do not feel that old, but it just feels like yesterday that all my kids were just at the house all the time. And it was just the busyness and it was fun, but it was never ending. And I remember hearing people say words like rest. I'm like, that's a nice luxury. That's a nice luxury for you as a mom. We can't have rest. But I think sometimes when we think about rest, we have to have a different understanding. Maybe we're thinking about rest as like taking a nap, and maybe that is part of rest in your life, and that's an important thing. But that's not always what it means. It doesn't mean just laying around on the couch. It doesn't mean not having anything to do and just sleeping. Rest biblically is actually defined as refreshment and restoration. And the biblical word picture for this word rest, when Jesus says, "Come to me if you are weary, and I will give you rest," it's this biblical word picture of God breathing his breath of life into us. It's that same picture of life that's given from the very beginning when God breathed into the dust of the earth, something that was not living, something that didn't have life on it. And God breathed his Ruach breath and life, something beautiful came out of it. And he did this when he created life at the beginning. And this is the same picture that we're to have with rest. So it doesn't mean idleness. It doesn't mean laziness. It doesn't mean having nothing to do. It means being filled with a life, the breath of God that gives us the kind of life that we were designed for and that we were intended for. So this is one of the pictures, and it's the other picture, that picture of refreshment, meaning that we are actually leaving in a better state, in a more complete state, in the state we were intended to be. We are leaving in that in a better state than when we came in. And so this is what I mean when I talk about rest. It's being refreshed and refilled and being left in a better state than when we came in. Now, as moms, sometimes even this idea seems really far off. This idea of like, what does it mean to be refreshed as a mom, as a woman today? I often think I laugh sometimes. I have a younger sister who has young kids and who's in the throe of it. And we laugh about the various seasons of life and how you can't even, as a young mom, like you can't even take a phone call. Or you can't even go to the bathroom. Let's be honest. You can't even go to the bathroom without the busyness and interruptions. And so it's like, how in the world do I find refreshment? And sometimes we carry as moms this guilt of like, oh, I'm supposed to do all these things. I'm supposed to be all these things. Oh, and I'm supposed to find refreshment. Oh, and I'm supposed to find rest in the Lord. And we carry around all this guilt because we never really have the measurables of to measure against if we're doing good. We don't have those standards. We don't even know what success looks like sometimes as a mom. There's a great leadership author who wrote, he said, if you don't define what success is, someone else will define it for you. And I think it's so easy in this day and age to play that comparison game. When we're on social media, we probably just saw it coming through Mother's Day, right? All these perfect family pictures and all these moms, I see it all the time. All these moms who do all these amazing things with their kids and they have their kids dressed in amazing ways. And it's so easy to play this comparison game and feel like you're never measuring up. And so today, I just wanted to take the next few minutes and I want to ask three questions. And these could be three questions maybe that you write down, but I believe that these could be the three questions that help determine that direction. Just like I said in that quote, if we don't define what success is or if we don't know what our direction is, somebody else is going to do that for us. And so let's maybe get three questions that we can just filter our day through to help us understand what success as a mom looks like. Am I doing a good job? What is my North Star? What should I be pointing to? Because we can't do everything and we can't be everything, but we can be a few things and we can do a few things. And so maybe I'm just going to pose three questions that could help us just define what does it look like to be successful as a mom, or what does it look like? Where's my North Star? What is my direction as a mom? And then when we can answer these, we can actually find rest in who God has intended us to be as a mom. So, the first question I want to ask you, and maybe we ask ourselves, this has helped me as a mother, is how can I invest in my kids' faith right now? Scripture tells us to seek first the kingdom of God. And we don't have to be Bible scholars. We don't have to be pastors. We certainly don't have to be married to pastors to be able to invest in our kids' faith. This starts a little bit at a time. And I think the important part of this question, how can I invest in my kids' faith right now, is important. A lot of times we think of the long game, and that's a good thing. If you have investment accounts or when you talk about finances, this idea of investing, it's saying, oh, just invest a little bit right now, and you're going to have this big investment at the end, this big kind of a draw at the end. I know when I was young in business, I went to an investment thing, and they said if you just invest $4 a day over 50 years at 10% interest, that $4 will be $1.7 million at the end of that. It's a little tiny investment right now to play the long game. And I think that's really a picture that we can take when we talk about our kids right now, maybe today. What is something small you can do to help point your kids in the right direction of their faith? As a mom, what is something small you can do right now for your own faith? Maybe it's putting a rhythm in your life that helps you pray every day with your kids, or questions that you can ask every day with your kids. Maybe it's something very simple, like a Bible verse that you can share with your kids, something very small to show them that faith is a wonderful investment in their lives And it's a wonderful investment in your life right now, not down the road, not next week. Don't even wait till Sunday. What is it right now that you can do, and you can do consistently, something very small? Put that rhythm in your life. Maybe it's sharing a story about what God has shown you, or maybe it's sharing something that you learned or you read or a devotional, asking them to share a story that could reflect the character of Jesus and then pointing that out in their life. I would encourage you to do that. That's a great first question. How can I invest in my kids' faith right now? The second question, and this is more a little bit directed to you, is who is part of your crew? I almost labeled this as who is your llama? I used to live on a small farm, and I wanted to have llamas on my farm because I just love the character of a llama. A llama is an animal that has the back. They will protect their little group, their herd. They're herd protectors. And you need people in your life who have your back. You need people in your life who are investing in you, that you can go to with struggles, with concerns, to reach out to for help. And so does your family. And so, who is part of your crew? Are you building an intentional group of people around you that are investing in you and your family? Maybe this is grandparents, and you can say, hey, what does it look like for you to continue to invest in our kids? I know Brian's parents, when we lived near them in Connecticut, his parents would take our kids out on a date once a month. And it was just an investment in family. And we'd have great community about that, great community and conversation around what their dates were like. And maybe you don't have grandparents, but there could be people in your church or friends that have gone ahead of you, peers of yours that can invest in your kids, and you can invest in theirs, and then they can invest in you as well. Who are those next level friends in your life? That's why I love that you're part of this moms group, because we cannot do this alone. We need to be having people pouring into us, and people that we can share life with and share our struggles, and investing in friends. Friendships don't happen accidentally, friendships happen intentionally. And so asking yourself, who are those next level friends? And if I don't have them, that's okay. That's okay. What does it look like to continue to invest in those? Asking somebody out for coffee, pursuing people that you want to be friends with is very important. And I would say, who are those godly people in your life? Maybe you're new to church. Maybe you're exploring faith. Are there godly people, people that are the next level ahead of you? Brian and I have always looked for friendships that are 15 to 20 years ahead of us, people who have been down the road. Before we had teens, we wanted friends who had teenagers, who we really loved the look of their family and how they modeled their family. And then we would invite them over for dinner. We would engage. We would initiate those kind of friendships so that we could glean from the marriages, from the parenting, that we really honored and that we really valued and cherished. And so I would encourage you as a mom to invest in what it looks like to have people in your crew. And then lastly, the last question I would pose to you is, right now, do my kids know that they are loved? Right now, again, that's that immediate question. I think sometimes we don't always say, do my kids go to bed every night knowing that I've loved them? Do my kids go to bed every night? Do my kids wake up or go throughout their day or go to school or go to daycare, or even in the chaos? Even in the discipline moments, do my kids know that they are loved right now, whether they're young or old? If you have kids that are older in school, maybe you want to send them a text and just say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I love you. I think how amazing it must have been for the disciples and for the people that encountered Jesus personally, to be able to look at his face and to be able to know that he loved them, to hear Jesus say to them, I love you, you are mine. And we can model that to our children. We can model that to them, and to know, for them to know that they are loved and that they are loved deeply. When we model that kind of love to our children, we are reflecting the love of God to them. And I really think that saying these words is important. I think sometimes I look at my own life and I think my kids know that they're loved because of all the things I do for them. I drive them around to sports or I bathe them or I feed them. But to hear them, that the safety of those words is so important because our actions may not always be received the way that we think they are. And so to put this language in your life every day, and I know that might not come normal. In my family growing up, I knew my parents had my back. I knew they were there. I even knew my parents loved us, but we never said it to each other. And so as an adult, I wanted to change this, and I say that to my kids all the time. I love you. And when I make a mistake, when I yell, when I lose my temper, I verbalize that. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You know, I love you and I'm here for you. Letting your kids know that you love them is so important. So important. So I hope that some of these questions will help you feel that you're succeeding as a mom. They're measurables for you to say, yeah, my kids know they're loved today. Yes, I'm having people invest in me so that I can be strong and supported for my kids and investing in my family. And then yes, my kids, I'm helping with little ways for my kids to grow in their faith. So I hope that this was helpful. I look forward to seeing you. I look forward to the discussions that you can have. And really, the most important thing in this is be honest. Be honest where you're at. If you're not feeling like you're making the mark on any of these, talk to the gals that are around you. Talk in this small group time. Find some leaders and some people in your church that can help make very small, attainable ways for you to feel that you're succeeding as a mom so that you can rest in the fact that you know that you are loved by the Lord, that you have a church community around you, and that you are pursuing a faith, and we are here to help you. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful journey, a great day, and I look forward to seeing you when we come and visit soon. Every blessing.